see a red-bellied woodpecker on the far sunflower seed feeder. It's the one that looks like a double, and the flag's in front of it. Of course. And the woodpecker moved. And a female cardinal here in the near mushroom feeder. And the suet seems to be mostly occupied with starlings. And a blue jay up here. There are doves on the wire. I see the hawk out in the field. That flapping you might see in a distance, especially if it comes back to the left. We may get a visit from that hawk too if nobody else provides prey. Oh, hawk's on the ground. Oh, another one in the air. Haha, must be the mate. I don't know how much you guys can see. Okay. Starlings. And you look like one that we call a busted hinge, which is the grackle. Okay, so there are peanuts over there, and on the stump piece, it's a festival of sunflower seeds, striped and black oil. I'm going to have to put out more peanuts, because these guys are just cleaning up. Where they are is the log that has been smoothed out a little bit and flattened a little bit. It's where we sit when we build a fire for cooking steak or fish or whatever outside. Okay, the double feeder. You see the red head? It's the feeder farthest away, nearest, well, if you look at the car in the driveway, it's to the right of the car in the driveway. They look like two little silos together. Yeah, for all my kids who may be seeing this video, what looks like bushes out there in my yard, that's mostly canes from raspberries. Yeah, the canes here by the apple tree are from blackberries. These birds on the ground here that are white on the tummy but just about black, not quite black on top, they're called slate-colored juncos. They're about the size of sparrows. I see somebody just jumped into one of my footprints. And most of the rest of the sparrows you see are in the house sparrow group. And they like to fly away in a bunch and come back in a bunch. Okay, on the edge to the right there, near, yep, in the peanuts, that's a titmouse. They look like they have a little crest, and they're gray, and they're small, like a sparrow. You may not be able to tell, but the starlings are puffed up, sitting on the branch, sitting on the suet. They have a yellow beak. I've told my kids we don't have TV, and that is true. But to her, this whole thing is TV. And the starlings stay put, of course. They are the scrappiest birds we have here, I think, right now. I see a female cardinal. She was by the double feeder. I'm a little surprised she hasn't figured out about that stump. She and her mate, the red one. A little earlier we had 3 pairs. Mostly they were up at the feeders though. They like the mushroom feeder because they can sit on that. Everything else has to be gripped with the feet. And I guess the downy and the hairy woodpeckers are busy somewhere else right now, because usually we have a bunch of those. Well, the hawk must have had success or moved on. Oh, I see one up in the sky. I don't know if it's going to get close enough. I can tell you what kind. We'll say red-tail. That's the usual. But we do have a red-shouldered one that lives down the street from us. I'm still seeing it flapping below the wires. Coming down, going to the right, coming back up. That means he's circling. Coming down, he's in the tree line. He's below the trees by about 1/3. I should say below the tree line by about 1/3. And it disappeared from my sight. Okay, Mrs. Cardinal is back on the double feeder. And we have a starling who just is a squatter on the... So move to the near suet. That guy must be really hungry. Yeah, Mrs. Cardinal is over there. Kind of hard to distinguish. I see the little crest. She's kind of like the color of a green olive with just a hint of red in some places that aren't terribly visible right now. She's off the feeder onto the apple tree branch, down to the feeder again. Flap, flap, flap. It's not very easy. She's a big bird for that feeder, so she has to flap to stay attached to be able to grab a seed.